Welcome to the Coach Speak podcast, built for coaches, by coaches, hosted by Jamie Bolton and Dustin Martin. Sponsored by Ray Crowther, providing the nation's best athletic training equipment since 1932. And R4 Football Systems. Accelerate everything by decoding the game.
Hey guys, welcome back to Coach Speak. Dustin Martin here with Jamie Bolton. Got a special guest tonight, one of my favorite guys used to recruit when he stopped by the school, Mr. Cody Ladutko. Before we get going, I want to shout out our sponsors, Synonym Bar Sports, Team Builder, Pro Quick Draw, and Glacier Clinics.
All right, guys, today's guest is a coach who's earned his way up every level of college football, from grinding as a quality control and analyst to developing elite tight end play to helping lead Liberty to an undefeated regular season, a Conference USA title, and a New Year's Six Bowl. He knows exactly what it takes to win. He lives in the film room, on the recruiting trail, and player development. If you want to know what life is really like as a college position coach, how recruiting really works, and how high school coaches can better prepare their players for the next level, this episode is for you. Coach Ladutko, welcome to Coach Speak.
Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So let's just kick it off, man. So what's the biggest misconception about being a college position coach?
Is that I am rich. Because I'm not. But I would say that, I think the higher the level you go, a lot of people think that, you don't have to do the film. You don't have to do this. There's other things that come with it, a little bit more stress. But I love it. I mean, I hadn't worked a day in my life. I know that's cliche and all that stuff. If it wouldn't have been for football, I don't know where I would have been at. And I'm very fortunate, very blessed to be where I'm at. Because if it wasn't this, I was probably breaking rock. And I love it. I love it. Very thankful to be around it.
Yeah, Coach, I know you're the tight ends coach now. Have you ever dabbled on the defense side of the ball, or have you always been offense? Or
I haven't. I wish I would have, to be completely honest with you. And I'll try, over the years, I'll kind of a defensive GA or analyst that I kind of like being around, hang around them, or a position coach that I'm really close with on the defense side of the ball. Why are you doing this? Why are you fitting this? Why are you playing the tight end like this? But I've always, I think it might have been Saban, somebody like that used to take some of their coaches and make them do the other side a while back. But I always wish I did, just to see it from their standpoint. Because, I mean, if a defense was to take me right now, or if I were to come down to Rock Hill or wherever, and I was to be on the defense side of the ball, I'm telling you right now, I'd tell you how to attack the tight end. I might not be able to help you as much on defense, but I never got that opportunity. I've tried as best I could to kind of make up for that, but never got on that side of the ball.
Yeah, and me and Jamie talk about that all the time. I think whenever I made the transition to defense, it was kind of in this ultimate superior goal down the road that if me and Jamie link back up, he does the offense, I do the defense. It happened to work out this year, but it was like the run fit was always just so exciting to me because I was an offensive lineman. So growing up, all I learned was fitting run schemes, identifying who to double to, who to pull to. So it was like, I'm a fat guy. I used to play OL, and I know exactly what I struggled with, and I couldn't. And it's something about seeing it, like you said, on the opposite side. Like you would know
100%.
Exactly how to attack the tight end based on what he's trying to do. Just was curious. I never asked you that before, but
I wish I did.
Yeah.
You never know. There's more time out there, and maybe it'll happen one day. But so far, have all been on offensive side of the ball.
How does practice work for you? I'm interested in that as a tight end coach. How much do y'all team up group with the OL a lot or Skelly a lot? Like how? Because I know high school wise, the tight ends are the most forgotten about guys. Like
100%.
It's send him with OL today, or hey man, we're in routes on there. What's he doing down there? Talk a little bit about that.
It's funny you even bring that up because I literally will have to ask the question when you're recruiting a kid. You don't know if he has had you as a position coach or Jamie as a position coach, or literally Farmer Bob from down the road, just making sure he's in the right place. So you have to ask that even when you talk to a kid. So when it's for us in the season, I get very limited indie time. So I have to be very specific with what I do. The reason why, the way we kind of section it out, tight ends are always going to be involved in special teams. You better get your butt on the field and be on every single special teams. And then when we're doing ROA, I'll get to a point now, and just with what we do, us being run, a little more run heavy, probably 60-40, whatever, 65-35, something like that. I have to spend so much more time on the run game. The pass game is going to be a little bit less worked on. ROA, if we do ROA 3 times a week, I might only go to 2 of them to steal some indie time for the run game. I count inside run. It's not indie, but really the way I'll coach, and everybody has their own different kind of style and all that kind of stuff. Alignment, assignment, technique for the most part. Make sure you're in the right place at the right time, going to the right people. And I like to coach it up on the field and then get it back in the film room. I'll get where I lose time on the field with Indy, I'll make up for it with extra time outside of it. We get with the O-line when we can do pods. We do a lot of half line stuff with them. And that's really good. We got a really good O-line coach, Bill Durkin. He's done a bunch of their Glazer clinics and, I think Lauren's, first and goal that's coming up. And he does a great job. So even just hearing a voice that's different, because when we split up the pods, he's on half the tight ends are on this side, the other half are with me. And then next week I'll flip it. Just hearing from a different voice from him, it's great for them too. But I mean, it's tough. Like, they're not the forgotten piece a little bit, as you say, like they are in high school. They're maybe the overused piece is the thing. And it's just kind of, with the position, like with me, you have to be a pretty intelligent dude. Like, when it comes to however we call formations, however we call pass pro, however we call run, scheme, 90% of the time, it's helping to tell the O-line a keyword, to tell the quarterback who to read, to tell the running back, what to do. And very seldom is it's tagged for the tight end. And I pitch it to him as a challenge, like, this is the world we get. Like, go make something of it. But going to the indie part of it, it's tough. It's limited. I got to get it where I can, pre-practice, post-practice, and really challenging those guys to bust their tails on their own as well. You take your older guys, they know what I want, teach it to the younger guys on their own time. So,
Yeah, it makes sense. I think it sounds like, what separates some of those guys that play that don't play in your room are the ones that are kind of knowledgeable on all those things. It seems like you got to be almost like another quarterback because you got to run,
100%.
fit check. You got, pass protection stuff. You got routes you got to run and be on time. Talk a little bit about how you kind of identify that from like a recruiting standpoint too. What do you look for in those guys because I'm sure, heck, we don't have a tight end at our school like that. There's probably few and far between, but how do you identify that? And then talk about that recruiting process that you identify.
Hardest thing. Like,
Yeah.
if you would have seen what it was like in the portal this year, if you even see like what it's with a high school, any one of us right now can put on a film, watch a tight end, and let's say 6'4", 220, like whatever, a kid in Georgia, a kid in Texas, whatever. All of us can sit in a room and we can all say together, that dude can play for Liberty or that dude can't, right? Like they're unicorns. They're hard to find. So if you're already putting it out there on film that checks all the boxes, you're going to be very hard to get because there's so few and far between. For me to find a guy, first of all, I'm going to ask a coach, is he a good dude? Like, is he a good person? I won't deal with it if it's bad. Literally, I'm not going to say where. I just was fully ready to go off for a kid on the road. I was fully ready to go off for a kid in the road. And the coach did not put a stamp on approval on it, asked as many questions as I could. I was like, all right, I'm good. Like, that's what I need to hear. Because I know just from over the years what that position entails. You can't be selfish. You can't be, needy all the time. You can't be like, is he a good dude? That, first of all, yeah, he's a great dude, coach. Okay, good. So you got some dog in him because we're going to run the ball and we're going to ask you to do a lot. And the more that you can show you can do. Can you back block? Can you ISO? Great. Okay. Can you block on the perimeter? Awesome. Can you base block a DN? Okay, great. Like, the more you can do, the more we're going to ask of you to do in our run, in our offense. So, has he got some dog in him? Is he a good person? Is he smart? And then it's really that mixed in with intangibles. If you looked at our tight ends and if you really watched film, like, our stats have been good, some years better than others, all that kind of stuff. But like as a football coach, I would say if you watched film, they've done pretty well. And I mean, I've got guys that are maybe 6'3" sometimes, you know, maybe 6'4", not a lot of 6'6", 250s, check all the physical boxes, because I think that, if you have some of those intangibles that are uncoachable, they can make up for a little bit less of a height. And now I'm not saying I can take, you know, me at tight end, right? But there's that give and take, and it's a very fluid situation with fewer numbers. Not all teams have a tight end. Um, and it's hard, but in a good way. I love it. It's a challenge, and the guys I have in my room love them. Like they're great dudes. Love being around them. Put them around my kids, and it's
Yep.
fun. Very much. I cannot overstate how much I love coaching tight ends.
And I think that's probably because you kind of get that selflessness that you get out of offensive linemen as well.
Exactly.
But they're a lot more athletic, so you can do a little bit. You get to go be a part of ROA.
You can wear an
what I
arm
mean?
sleeve and not be weird.
Yeah. But I think the biggest part that I took from that, and I've always heard it from the older coaches I've been around, is develop your relationships with the college coaches and build trust, because once you sell them a bad seed once, that trust is out the window. So like if a coach tells you, hey Cody, this kid's a great kid, and then he's an absolute turd, that relationship between you and that coach probably is a little more rocky. And it's like, well, and things change. Like he could have been a great kid at high school and whatnot, but it's like that is such a big piece to hear. One of the first words is the kid a good kid? Is he a good dude?
Yeah, like imagine I come through when you were the head coach at Cannon. Imagine I come through there, you tell me whatever tight end was good, and he comes to me and he's not that. Well, in 2 years, let's say you have a receiver that our receiver coach wants to know about or like, and I'm gonna be like, judging for you want, I don't know how much worth I'd put into the head coach's talk. You know what I'm saying? And there's levels to it, and there's always change, and every year there's different. And I mean, you guys all know recruiting today is different than it was even just a year ago versus 5 years ago. 5 years ago, we were in a different world. And, it's become, I still very much try to keep it with I really like, and, I don't think I'm giving away a secret or anything like that, but what I really like to do, and it's the reason that maybe this triangle has even started off, I like asking coaches at different schools about people that they know about from other schools.
Yes.
You guys see them, right?
It's
You might have heard
unbiased.
about them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because you guys are in the community every single day. Like we talked about before I started on, like I'm come down there for 2 weeks or a week and I'm recruiting. I've been recruiting it for years, since 2015, something around there, 2016, on and off. And I'm from the area, so I know people. But you guys are in the area seeing dudes all the time. Like, hey man, my sister's brother-in-law is coaching over there, and this dude loves him. He's a great dude, and he's freaking going to be a stud. You need to go see about him. Nobody knows. Like, I like doing that and finding out boots on the ground with people you trust, and you learn who you can listen to. I'm always going to listen to everybody, but how much stock I put in it with somebody I really know versus somebody, and not always what I really know. It could be somebody I meet off the first time. I mean, I think the first time you and me, Dustin, ever had a talk, it was a pretty good talk with your recruit. And I think so you can find it out pretty quick.
Yeah.
But
well, it's funny that you say that, because Derek White, he's the head coach at Raven Gap. He texts me, same kid, and I'll say his name because we still talk. Henry Anthony, he's at Harvard now, but
yeah,
he said, "Hey man, did this college, P4 college, did they pull the trigger on Henry?" I said, "Nah." He said, "Man, when he came by, I told him he'd be an idiot if he didn't offer Henry." And so it's just like you said, it's when coaches are able to see the talent in other teams and be able to help recruit, that's how you know they're a good dude. You know what I mean? They like, hey man, listen, here's my kids. All right, is there anyone else? Yeah, this team right here, this kid, you need to check that kid out. It's just, I think it's a mutual respect for the game. Like, man, like these are really, really great kids.
Yeah, and I really respect your process too, because I think we're all talking about the same kind of kid. But I remember you talking to me about his film. I was like, "Hey, man, Henry," and I think we had, like, a follow-up conversation. I mean, I like his film from defense and, like, talking about how he got off the ball, and I just your process, and that was very thorough, and I guess, with the tight end group, there's a lot less of them, so you almost have to be more thorough. They're not gonna because how are you
In
gonna
fact, if we watch a kid, like I said, if we watch a
Mhm,
kid at Texas that's a tight end and some Texas high school and he's 6'5" and he's running past people and he's blocking everybody, everybody's going to say, yeah, you can play at Liberty, you can play at Liberty, you can play at Liberty.
mhm,
It's kind of like, what's your system? You know what I mean? You got your check, you got your boxes you got to check. What's your system? Trying to read between the lines. Okay, like you brought up Henry already, so I'll say it, right? If let's pretend you guys only ran, no tight end attached.
right,
And I say, "Oh, well, he didn't block anybody, so I'm not gonna recruit him because we block people in our system." Well, that's not the kid's fault. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you've never had a tight end like him, so that's your system, and it is what it is. So I go to watching defense, right? Is there defense? Okay, he's coming off the ball. He's popping his feet. He's sinking his hips. He's ripping through. He's being aggressive. He's putting his face in the fan. Like, those are things that translate to the
Yep.
run game.
Yep.
It's my job. Why do I get paid? I got to get paid technique and all that kind of stuff. How do you find those intangibles that you can't
Mhm.
coach or that you can only refine a little bit, right? Like,
Mm.
no matter what, like my vertical is never going to be 40. It doesn't matter how hard I work on it, right? Like I can maybe get it up a couple inches, but my mom and my dad, they didn't jump the highest. Okay. Me, same thing with a tight end, right? Like if I don't see him putting his face in the fan because of whatever circumstances, I got to try and uncover as many stones as I can to
right.
figure it out. And then it gets to the point you got to talk to people around that area. Why is it like this?
Sure.
See them live, talk
And I
to the
think
kid.
Coaches, if you're serious about getting better every single year, there's one name you already know, Glazier Clinics. And it's way bigger than just a weekend clinic now. With Glazier Drive, you get on demand access to hundreds of presentations from some of the best coaches in the country. That means when you're building your off-season plan, installing your offense, or fixing your third down package, you've got answers instantly. And with Glazier Connect, you're plugged into a national network of coaches sharing ideas, resources, and real solutions. No more coaching on an island. You're learning, growing, and collaborating year round. And if you're interested in my system, I have courses ready to go if you need a comprehensive offensive install or ideas to sharpen your offensive system. From in person clinics to digital resources to a nationwide coaches community, Glazier gives you everything you need to sharpen your craft. And if you're coming to the Charlotte Glazier on March 14th, make sure you stop by the Coach Speak booth. Both me and Dustin will be there. We'd love to meet you, talk ball, and connect in person. If you want better schemes, better practices, better player development, and better results, get in the Glazier ecosystem. Check out Glazier Clinics, Glazier Drive, and Glazier Connect, all at glazierclinics.com, and keep leveling up your program.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a good point for every coach that's listening to this, especially high school coaches, because the specific guy that we're talking about, we were air raid. We hardly ever brought him in the core at all. It was straight 10 personnel. But I think this is a tool, a resource that coaches who deal with recruiting with college coaches, like, listen, they can look at different positions. So, like, I know for us, we had a very weak OL and we threw the ball 89% of the time. And like, that's how it was when he came through. And it was like he had no blocking clips. But I think it's important that coaches hear that because that's how you can keep the parents and the kid like, listen, even though you're probably going to play tight end at the next level, film here also matters. They can see what they need to see
Yeah.
versus I'm going to transfer to the school down the street
Like,
because they run
like,
counter H
are you
more.
a
You know
really
what I
good
mean?
football player? Like, do
Yes.
you play the game the way it's supposed to be played? Like Coach is saying, the intangibles like aggression and physicality that could show up in multiple places. I think it's really, really important to note. Yeah, man. So let's talk about kind of like when did you realize I could do this at any level? Because you started off at Davidson College. Is that right? You started off at Davidson. When
Yeah,
did
amazing.
before was that your first coaching job, or did that?
That was so. Now you say when I can do it at any level. I still question if I can do it at any level, to be honest with you. But I'm just kidding. But so my, I'm from Harrisburg, right there, kind of outside by the racetrack in 704, and went to Mercyhurst. I was about a D2 player, but I wasn't as focused as I should have been. Ended up coming down to Averett, 2 hours from the house, 2.5 hours from the house up in Virginia. And then I was fortunate enough at the time, I knew I wasn't going to go pro or anything like that. I got the chance to play in Europe. And so how you play in Europe is you play on an 18 plus team, but you coach younger kids
Mm.
and you coach kind of the high school age kids. So in Europe, sports and schools are not together. It's club. And I always knew I wanted to coach. I always wanted to be a high school coach. And when I went through school, I didn't get to my teacher certificate. So I go to Europe. I played in Sweden for a year and coached over there. I played and coached in France for 2 years on and off. And then I came back and I knew I always thought I wanted to coach high school football. And I still think that's a great spot. I just didn't have my teacher certificate. And in North Carolina, it was hard at the time. This is 2013, 14. You had to do lateral entry and all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. And my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, we were sending out resumes everywhere. She says, "Why don't you send one to Davidson?" So I sent one to Davidson, which was about 35 minutes from my house. They're on the north side of the city. I'm like northeast side of the city. And Paul Nichols was there at the time, non-scholarship FCS, great spot. I got on there, pretty much as a volunteer role, but as a position coach because I had already dabbled kind of in coaching when I was in Europe, but I got on as a receiver coach and was there for 14, 15, 16, 17, worked my way up to full time, started recruiting areas, all that kind of stuff. So I was kind of doing GA duties, analyst duties, and position coach duties at the same time. We didn't have the success we wanted there, which stunk, but we all got let go. And then thankfully, by that time, my wife, who was pregnant at the time, we started talking. We were hoping we were going to stay regional. She was a teacher in CMS and elementary school, and got on with Chadwell as an analyst, working with working with receivers first, then went to quarterbacks, and then eventually got a position coach with tight ends. And then when in 23, when we came here, came with him to Liberty and, been doing it ever since. And I love
Oh,
it.
that's awesome.
It's been fun. And, it's one of those things like, you never know, like, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, when you think it's a tough, what do they say? It's the best job, worst profession, or vice versa, whatever they say. It's like when we got let go at Davidson, I finally started making, okay money for us. And we got let go. My wife was pregnant.
Yeah.
Uh, it took 4 months, 5 months to even get on it with Coach Chadwell. That was for an analyst job. And it didn't. I used to do industrial maintenance my whole life on and off, and I didn't know if I was going to have to go back to that. And which is nothing wrong with that. I'd be making probably more money doing that now. But it's just one of those things. And God definitely helped, and my wife was phenomenal through the whole thing, supporting me, and getting to this position I'm in now with the people I'm around now. It's been very awesome. It's been awesome.
What do you
So,
think? Yeah, go ahead,
oh,
Dustin.
I was just gonna say, throughout that process, obviously, you got to where you got to by working hard and keeping your head down and grinding, and what do you think if someone's listening to this and they're a younger coach wanting to try to go the path that you did? What habits did you create that they need to have to try to move up in the college world?
Well, I think, as long as you're working hard and you're good to be around, because I mean, especially during the season, I mean, every place is a little different, but you're going to be, if us three were working together, O-line coach, quarterback coach, tight end coach, and I work hard, but you don't like being around me,
Mhm.
like it's tough,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he works hard, but he's tough to be around because we're with each other 12 hours a day,
Right.
So I think it's that understanding, and there's going to be arguments, there's going to be difference of opinion, there's going to be difference of people. Like there's a bunch of coaches I've clashed with and everything like that. How do you coexist? How do you work? But how do I handle my business and do the best job that I can? Right? Like if you give me, like, in my head, and if you give the tight end something to do, if you give me something to do, I tend to try to believe in my head that I can do it, whether I can do it or not. So you said, like, I did the recess lighting right there, right? Like I was proud of myself. I'm not going to lie. I never did it before. I was scared to death that my house was going to burn down for like the first month. Like I was worried, like made sure my lights cut off. But like, I went after it. Same thing in there, right? I think when we were at Davidson, I'll never forget it. When we were at Davidson, my first year there, when I was still unpaid, we had a DFO. She was a secretary. She quit right before recruiting. And we needed someone to set up OVs, make lanyards, book hotels, travel, all this stuff. I had never done it, like anything like that in my life. And I was just like, all right, I guess I got to figure this out. And, kind of went after it. And is it always going to be perfect? No, I can tell you that right now. Have I always done the greatest? Have I always put the greatest thing out there? No, I tried. But you put a good product out there. You're good with the people. You fit within your scheme. You get around. Being around good people is a big deal. And just working hard, like wanting to get better, understanding that you don't know everything, and busting your tail. Like the reason why you guys probably started this podcast, it wasn't for money, right? Like
No, heck no.
Just like the reason we started teaching and coaching at high school
I
level,
think
it wasn't for money.
this has cost us money.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, right? But
Yeah.
you're good at it,
Yeah.
right? Because
Well-
it's something you care about and you love and you work at. And same
And
with tight end. Like I love coaching tight ends. I love coaching football. Like I want it to be good. I want to put a good product out there. I want to hopefully make a change in these guys' lives, whether it's outside of football, in football. I like coming to y'all's schools and talking to y'all.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
and
a lot
now
of it's a lot of it's like the interpersonal skills. It's like
Mm.
how do I relate with others? And in your profession, just like ours, it's like you have to have so many relationships that you have to maintain in your recruiting area. Then you have to have so many relationships that you maintain like in your football program, and then the coaches that you're coaching with. And that's let alone your knowledge of your position and your knowledge, and then your work ethic. And so it takes an incredible amount of skill that you've probably had to build up over the years. And the one thing that I love that you said is you showed initiative and trying to do those things. That way, when you go try to get that analyst job, somebody's going to say, "Hey, man, Coach Ladutko freaking did all those OBs. He did all the hotels when the lady quit on us, a day before the whatever started." But that's big, and that's probably what propelled your career to where you are now. It gave you an opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one thing, like, and again, I was never scared to work.
Mm-hmm.
And if you give me someone who's not scared to work, like I can work with that, whether it's on the field, whether it's a GA, whether it's a student assistant, whether it's someone like, I'm not going to toot my horn like on anything really, but I'm not going to be scared to work. Like break rock, coach football, whatever, like that doesn't scare me. And if you kind of take a mindset like that, and good things are going to happen, right?
Yeah.
You work at this podcast, good things are going to happen. You work at your craft with coaching quarterbacks, it's going to be good. You work at your craft at whatever and kind of get after a little bit,
That sets yourself apart. It does. I think that's individually and from a program standpoint too. Yeah.
And it's like, I worked, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, Coach Wallace got us hooked up working like the youth Panther camps, and like one of their big hashtags was grow the game. You know what I mean? And it's like, I would sit in my office sometimes and just think, at Canon, because I didn't have to teach. So I had a little extra time on my mind. But I was like, how can I continue to help try to grow this game and impact this game? And that's where I started thinking about doing like tackle training to try to help kids learn how to tackle. And then me and Jamie, we would sit and we'd talk on the phone about real issues we're going through, that we're struggling, we're trying to figure out with parents, recruiting, with whatever it may have been. And it's like, man, we need to try to come up with something to impact coaches, to help them maybe in a situation that we've already been through, or bring people on like Cody Ladutko that can teach us everything that we need to know about the great game of football. But it's
Plus great hairstyles.
No doubt, man. No doubt.
I don't want to hear
Perfect
that.
timing with the hat. You just lifted the hat right when I said
yes,
it.
sir.
That's
Don't
sick.
even.
But man,
I don't know
it's
what I'm
just-
doing with it.
But to your point, it's like impact. So like, don't be scared to do something different. Like, man, we talked about probably doing this podcast for 3 months before we ever pulled the trigger of, okay, let's get a plan together. But it's like, man, we didn't know what to do. Dude, I don't know anything about
We
these
were researching microphones. Like, what do we
Exactly.
dude, it's
what do we do?
Now look at
yeah,
you guys.
man.
You got the big headphones on and a microphone in
Oh
front of your
yeah.
face. Like, I mean,
Yeah, man.
you
Sharp.
guys got the nice backgrounds. There's probably like green screens all around you and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't know, man. We're just
Some
we just
woman
staying
right
up
there
late.
giving you like 5 minutes left or something like that behind the screen.
Holding cue cards up.
No, my
No,
wife's
man.
like, "Can you be quiet? The kids are trying to sleep." Like,
I had to
sorry,
lock up
sweetie,
the
I got
dog so the
amped
dog
up.
didn't bark.
I got amped up, man. Okay, sorry.
No,
But
man.
no, so like talk us, you know, obviously great insight for anybody listening. I think just being like a guy that what's it Gruden say? Gruden's grinders, but it's really true. I mean, it's like don't be afraid to work, but talk to us, man. Like a day in the life of a college football coach. What does like a typical in season week for you look like?
So for us, Coach Chadwell, he's done a great job. He's very much kept a good work and home life balance. And with us, what we run our scheme, I've been in for a while. A lot of our coaches have been in for a while. We know what we want to do. For the most part, we would know, the same ideas and how to attack stuff. So we've been together. It's a little different than a lot of other places where maybe, a new OC comes in and, hey guys, this is what we're going to run. So we've been very blessed and fortunate about that. But on a Sunday, so let's say if you're going into the week, you play a game on Saturday. If you come in on a Sunday, I'd usually get in there relatively earlier. Coach Chow does a great job, lets the guys get to church. I'd come in there and grade it on my own, tight ends, do my notes, make my cut ups, grade it and all that kind of stuff. And then what we did that's a little different than most places is we section off kind of situations. So I would do a lot of third down stuff. Our running back coach would do a lot of unbalanced stuff and the normal down stuff with our quarterbacks coach. Our receiver coach would do a lot of shot plays. We would have other analysts or stuff like that have been with us for a while do other scenarios, red zone, coming out, that kind of stuff. And Monday was really your Monday, or Sunday and Monday were really your long days of kind of starting to watch some games. So what I would usually do is I would grade the film. I'd start to watch a couple games on the next opponent. And then I would really dive into my situational because I at least wanted to have a heads up of, all right, 3 down, 4 down, squeeze scrape, middle open, middle close. What do they blitz like? That kind of stuff.
Put it in
Get into my
context.
situation, get into my situation. And then I would usually, and then what our coaches do is we would present really, and if you look at it like this, like let's say I do third down or I only do third and extra long, whatever. Here's 10 plays. Okay. And instead of the whole staff sitting together and watching it for 3 to 4 hours or whatever, here's the 10 plays that I really like. And now let's chop it down to 5. Let's chop it down to 3, whatever. So it kind of takes time away from it. But because we've been together and we all kind of know our system and what we should do and what we're kind of trying to attack for the most and a broad picture, it kind of helps like that. But that was Sunday. Monday again is still doing your situation. So Sunday, Monday or later days, doing your situation, starting to get in. I usually get done about Monday afternoon, Monday night. Then I'll really dive into all the games. What I really like to do too, and then start to see what the normal down script's going to be for Tuesday and any thoughts that I might have. Like we would meet Monday night. I really like this, unbalanced player. I really like this. Did you have this? I like this 3x1 quick game concept, RPO concept, triple concept. To add in, do they like it? Do they not? We kind of communicated with it there. Then Tuesday, you start to get in your practice. You usually start to present Tuesday to Wednesday on the people's situations, grade the practice film, get ready for the next day, implement, install, do all your drawings there. At tight end, I would usually, we would have GAs and analysts do overall drawings for the guys coming up to the next practice. I have all those guys look at that, but then I'll do my own kind of stuff just because it's a little bit of a different world. You know, if you're just drawing a play that's split zone with an RPO, depending on the defense, if it's 3 down, 4 down, and we want you to either kick the end, or if the tackle takes them, wrap to the play side backer. Like, so I would draw my own stuff for the tight ends, start to get them ready with that. And then just kind of go from there. Thursday goes into kind of your walkthrough script, start to give them the test on, you know, a Friday night or Saturday morning, depending on what the game is, and hopefully go out there and win the game. But it's pretty, you know, and it's what I know, but it's pretty organized because of the continuity that we've had. If
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, so, like, all the
Um,
things that y'all are presenting on, I'm sure there's a menu that there's, like, you're kinda pulling from, or do you
yeah,
have a
and
lot
there's
of
very
freedom?
like if I do a third down, let's say I'm, you know, whatever, doing third and long. For the most part, let's say if I was going to bring 10 plays, 5 plays, whatever, most of them are going to be ones that we've installed. Maybe it's a slightly different formation or a different motion to try and hide it from something we did the week before or we've done,
Mhm.
you showed last year, something like that. Then maybe a concept, 1 or 2 new ones.
Mhm.
And, you know, maybe you add the new one in,
Mm.
um, depending on how expensive it is and where we think it
Yeah,
fits, that kind of
makes
stuff.
sense.
You know, what's a defense going to get? Because I mean, nowadays, dude, defenses are so tough. Like, are you facing 3 safety stuff? Are you facing teams that are man? Are you facing quarters team hiding stuff? And it's
Mhm.
just they're difficult, man. They're
How
really difficult.
Coaches, if you're looking for a way to build stronger, more explosive, and more resilient athletes without just adding more plates to the bar, you need to check out Tsunami Bar Sports. The Tsunami Bar is an oscillating bar that challenges stability, control, and force production all at the same time. Because the load moves, your athletes have to brace harder, stabilize better, and own every rep. That means you're not just training strength, you're training real world strength that transfers to the field. We love it for pressing, shoulder stability, trunk control, and teaching athletes how to absorb and redirect force. Exactly what happens in football every single snap. If you want athletes who can handle contact, stay balanced, and keep producing power late in games, you've got to train instability under load. Tsunami Bar Sports helps you do exactly that. Upgrade your weight room, upgrade your development. Check out Tsunami Bar Sports at tsunamibarsports.com today.
how much throughout the week, you know, you kind of talk about scheme and what they like to do. How much of your game planning as the tight end coach goes into the other team's personnel? Like, I'm sure you have GAs and analysts that kind of dive into that, you know, who are they? But like, how do you really throughout the week know, all right, tight ends, here's the fours or the ends or whatever, outside linebackers, here's who we're going against. Here's what they're really good at. Do y'all dive into personnel a lot at that level, or how's that work?
Yeah, a decent amount, and we'll have like so it'll probably get presented to us. So it'll get presented to us. So like going into it after, and I probably forgot to mention this, but on Sunday after we go through our grading systems, the people who do the opponent scout before we start to watch stuff and before they start to do normal down, give us the whole rundown, like all
Mm,
these checklists of stuff we do, just to kind of give us a heads up, right? Their opinion, this guy's really good. This, we think he's an all conference player. We think this might be a weak link. We might, you know, they like to do this. So kind of an overall broad synopsis. And then you kind of get into the film with it. Um, I should have brought that up. But get into that. And then what I'll do is as I'm going through the film, I'll watch teams, how their DNs play, how their backers fit, how they take on blocks or how they try to, you know, swim by them. When they're in this formation or when we're in 12 personnel or 11 personnel, is it bigger body or smaller nickel body? Um, and show those guys. I'll make a bank because what'll happen is I'll make a bank of plays and formations and looks that I think are relevant to almost anything we can do. And as we start to go through the normal down with, let's say we really like 3x1 hipped up and, you know, 2x2 detached. I'll go back into my bank and find the ones that are closest to that we can look at to say, hey, this is how they've played it as a tight end
mm,
look. But then there's stuff in there too, like, okay, let's say we're going to play, you know, App State. They got some DN 15. He's a monster. I'll make sure that I show him when he's in this stance, when he's doing this, when he's doing that in this situation, and try to give them because especially with those tight ends, like they're already smart. There's a lot of stuff on their plate. The more I can get them to slow that game down and understand, okay, coach showed me this clip when he's like this,
Yeah.
I can come off the ball a little bit quicker and try to
Now
give
is
them as
that
much
now is that
information with
something
that.
that that Coach Chadwell has implemented like with the entire staff as a process, or is it like kind of free for you guys to kind of navigate kind of your own little position group, not little position group, but your position group and how you manage that with your players?
You're talking about like with the like
Like
how to like
opponents,
kind of
like
look at the
opponent
opponent and stuff like
scouting,
that.
all that stuff. Yeah.
It's pretty much like if I had to put a percentage on it, probably majority of us do it in that kind of fashion. Our
Hmm.
running backs coach does a great job with the backers and how D line fits when the back's hitting it like this and showing them clips. Our receivers coach does a great job of putting a hit tape together of how guys get beat, how they don't get beat, how they hold, how they don't
Mm,
hold, leverage. Our O line coach does a phenomenal job. Uh, quarterbacks coach does a great job of and everybody's just kind of in their own language, so to speak,
right.
of
Okay.
kind of because of what we do, like the base of us with triple being a little different than most, right? Like our whole thing is, pick your poison. How do you want to fit us? How do you want to play us? Right. And we're going to try and get you into certain things. And if we like that certain thing, that's where we're going to attack you. And so with that mindset, you can kind of get a decent picture or thought process of how someone wants to play you. Um, do they want to play trap corner? Right? Are they going to play like that? And if they do, let's go find the cover two corner looks, see how they play it. Are they going to do this with the DNs? Are they going to do this with the backers? Trying to piece stuff together and then
Mm.
show it to those guys. But everybody does a really good job of it, just in their own sense.
No, that's really good, because it's all about your system. What are you looking for? How do we attack it? And how good is that player? How bad is that player? And I thought it was super interesting when you started talking about, is it a small body or big body nickel when you start getting
Hmm.
into some 12 personnel stuff? Because like you got to match bodies. If you don't match
Mhm.
bodies, you could be in trouble. And I think we talk about all the time at the high school level. If you get in 12 and they don't have a sub for that small body nickel, it could be a long night for them. It
Yeah.
really could. Coach, are y'all like a big like walkthrough team? Like, do you get a lot of your reps? Because I know a little bit of what y'all do offensively. Don't want to get too down the rabbit hole with that, but I
Yeah.
know that there's probably a lot of things you have to walk through to understand conceptually. Do y'all do a lot of like can work, or is it most of the time bodies on bodies? How do y'all like to kind of do that?
We'll do a lot of walkthrough on air with offense. A lot of it is, mesh in the backfield. So like just look at the portal, right? The world we live in now with having a bunch of new bodies. There's a
Mm,
lot of guys that even at tight end, right? I'll use tight end for example. Um, Kind of what we do a lot of the time, technique wise or scheme wise or reading stuff wise, is new to them. So they might have been playing tight end for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and they've come to us and it's still a little different. So we will do a lot of walk through stuff. We take, at least 10 minutes before practice. Guys will individually do stuff after practice. Right now we're before spring ball. So we're doing the kind of the OTA stuff, with your mat drills or, your winter conditioning, spring conditioning. And we're doing a lot of walkthrough and indie stuff now, mental reps, getting your steps down. But there is a lot of that because there is a difference, um, with just so many guys that are new, haven't quite done it. We're not just running. We run, outside zone, but we're not just running outside zone. We're 21 personnel. We'll be 12 personnel. Like if you went through and saw the personnels in our game, we're a heavy 11 personnel, like a lot of people, but we'll go 21 personnel and show you an 11 personnel picture,
hmm.
get back to 21, show and run triple. And that might be something new for the tight ends, the running backs, and the quarterbacks, receivers as well. And walking through mentally, it is a big thing for us.
Yeah, it's got to be. And I think all those transitions and things, but the good thing is your staff has been together, it seems like, for a while, and that system is in place. Whereas, like, but yeah, I guess the new faces of who's running it's definitely a challenge. And I've actually heard defensive coaches talk about that a lot too. Like how I don't know how complicated or complex they can get. It's hard when they get the kids, coming in 3 months before the season or maybe 2 months before the season. And it's
I
like,
know.
well, dang, how much we're really going to put in here,
I know.
So
I mean,
it's kind of wild.
everybody's got new guys, and it's like it goes back to even how we were talking about like recruiting with high school kids and stuff like that. You got to
Yeah.
try and it's just speed dating a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, as to where
Yeah.
instead of 6 months to a year, you're really
Yep.
recruiting a kid for a couple days, and you got to try and turn over as many stones as you can to make sure that they fit what you do.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I know everybody has talked about it before. I mean, Indiana, right? Like they
Mm.
talk about their stars and all that kind of stuff. They got guys that fit
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
and in their scheme.
Yep.
Also the oldest
Um,
team in the
yeah, older
country.
dudes, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That've played before.
Smart. I mean,
Uh,
that's
What
smart. I mean, you got to play the game,
Coach, what do you think is more important to you in a tight end? If you could only pick one, do you think do they have to be better at blocking at the first level or blocking in space at the second level? Like, obviously the cliches answer,
Good
first
question.
level if we can't, but like what do you think's most important?
See, that's a loaded question, bro.
Hey
So like,
man, we got all night, dude.
Hey,
Unload that
man.
bad boy.
no, no. But see, like,
Yeah.
if you watch if I went through and I said, "Hey, go watch this film," or "Go watch this one," and I told you only to watch one of them, right? I guarantee I can go and find you a game where our tight ends are freaking base blocking at the end 10, 15 times a game, and then the next game we're
Arcing.
blocking corners and loading
Sure.
backers, and we hadn't even
Yeah.
touched the DN. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. I try to. There's a level. I've been very fortunate. Dude. It's nothing on. Maybe I have 1% to it, but like I've had very good players that have been selfless and have been good on all those levels. Um, I just had a senior graduate, Jacob Jenkins, who was with us for 4 years total, came with us from Coastal, great player, played for us for a long time, was just a road dog, could base block the DN, you know, arc to the corner, arc to the safety, battled through injuries. I had Bentley Hanshaw, I had Austin Henderson, I had older guys that would get after it. I've got some guys still in the room now. Um, and I'm hoping that some new guys that we got in are kind of that same. But when you say like what's more important, it's tough. If you got those guys who can do them both, you can keep them out on the field. If I
Yeah.
feel like I have one who can only do more in line at the point of attack, I'll try to look for another guy that maybe can be better on the perimeter and then put them in and out.
Yeah.
Now where does that hurt you? It gives away your plays. It tells you if you only got the fast tight end in there on pass plays and arc into the corner, well, then you know what's coming. You ain't running freaking belly. But it's I don't know. I
Yeah, it's a
guess
tough one, man.
It's
Yeah.
tough because I mean
I
if
would say point of attack in the
yeah,
box. If you're
sure.
saying in the
There you
box.
go. Yep. Mhm.
So if you're saying like ISO and blocking DNs, I would say that if I had to just pick one.
Because that's
But
probably the base of your everything,
Sure.
then you
yeah, I
kinda
mean, hit
you
between
can
the tackles, gap
yeah,
Yeah.
scheme stuff.
yeah.
We'll run some outside zone. We'll
Well,
get it on the perimeter.
it's like high
Um,
school, I feel like that's easy to kids, like the box stuff. But you
uh,
would think the easy blocks, hey, arc and set up on the outside shoulder of the OLB.
oh
Oh
no, dude,
man,
it's tough. Dude, it's tough
like
in college.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
like you should hear, Chadwell's East Tennessee. Cody, what is he doing? Missing somebody on the perimeter. Like, did you
Yeah.
guys even meet? It's like, yes, coach.
Yeah,
What do you
coach, we
mean?
met about
What do you
this a
mean?
lot.
Like, it's
Then
like
they come
seriously
over, it's
that.
like, thanks guys, you're leaving me out
Yeah,
to
yeah,
dry. Come on,
yeah.
man.
They,
No,
you
Coach,
no,
don't
start
have
no.
my
running some
back. Uh,
running some split flows on
That's awesome.
uh,
trying to get me fired.
yeah, that's
That's
awesome,
But
awesome.
it's
man.
tough. No, it's tough in college. I mean,
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
in college, like you're 6'3", 6'4", 230 to 240. Like I'm going to ask you on one play, ISO the backer or base block a D lineman. Oh, hey, now go out in space and go block that 150 pounder.
Mhm.
Don't let him run around you.
Yep.
Yeah.
you know, and it's tough. And they can do it. You can do it.
Yeah.
It's just you get out there in no man's land and two-way goes with smaller dudes. It's
Yeah. And then, hey,
Like
run by
the-
this cat and go catch the touchdown.
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, believe me, I've been
That's
hearing
wild.
about that.
And then understand all the shifts and everything and all the communication. Man, it's like Coach said, man, it's like offensive line, but way harder probably in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, not every way.
No, I
but in a
can't.
lot
I
of
can't. I
ways.
can't say you're going to get me probably on the recruiting thing from Charlotte earlier, but no, you're not going to get me on.
Trying to bait you into it.
Any tight end, I'll stand on any tight end. I'll tell you what, it's the easiest position. It's the easiest position. Everybody else has it harder.
There you go.
And
Spoken like a true tight end
you know,
coach.
There
That's
you go.
awesome.
I don't care.
That's
Don't
good.
gripe. Get it
Yeah.
done. There you
I
go.
love it. I love it. I think that's a great one. Let's get into rapid fire, man. So
Yeah, man, let's do it.
what's your go-to, and you don't have to be specific with your offense, but like what's like your go-to run concept and pass concept for your tight ends? Like what do you like to see your tight ends do in the run game and pass game concept wise?
For us, we're big with belly G. So down
Okay.
kick, pull the play side guard or play side center. And the intricacies of that's a Jamie Chadwell baby. That is something that can be run at any time, at any place. And it's point of attack tight end. So that's huge for me. That's something we spend some time on, take pride in it. Base pass concept that you're saying, like what's a go-to pass concept for me?
Yeah, for like a tight end to be successful, what do you like to see out of y'all stuff?
Well, I just like, to me, you're always going to, quick game, 2 minutes, stuff like that. You're going to get your little, freebies and stuff. But to me, with the pass game, like we're going to set up a lot of stuff, earn it in the run game.
Mhm.
So it's like those passes are going to be easy. I can pull you up clips over the last 5 years, whatever it is, and the tight end's butt naked, catching something for 40 yards, 30 yards, whatever
Yep.
it is. But I can rewind you 5 plays or a series before or a quarter before where we set it up with the same thing, and we did a good job in the run game. Like that's even one of my big pitches with our guys, setting up the pass game from the run game. So I mean, if a favorite play or pass play, any of them, they're always great. I love it. I get, I get more
Good
excited
answer.
about the run game. I get more excited about the run game, but anything that they really set up, like seeing something that they set up from the run game that translates to the pass game and it's successful and it's something you did during the week,
Sure.
like that's pretty. I feel good for the player.
Yeah.
They put the time in, they got after it. They're not saying, Coach Dutt sold me a dream and said I'd get the ball on just this play. Like you actually got it. So it's I would say that one with pass game.
Do the work and then have fun when you catch it.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Do y'all run belly at all out of like 12 or 21 where tight end and wing to the tight end wing side?
Oh yeah.
Like 4-man surface side. Yeah. Yeah. We saw a team second round of playoffs, Burns down there. Burns High School ran that a little bit at us. And
what was that OC's name?
I don't know what.
Look it up and see where he was.
I'll have to look it up because I know they just hired Schuler Bentley. They just hired
Guess
him.
where Schuler Bentley was?
Yeah.
He was at Coastal Carolina as an analyst with us.
Yep.
So Schuler was with us for a while.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, no, it was on the 6-yard line. It's tough unless you got some dogs that are going to stick their nose in there and try to.
Were they running it well?
They have a really, really good running back. Best running back I've ever coached against. And they had some big linemen. It looked good. I'll have to show it to you. Coach, what do you think in terms of a tight end? What do you think the hardest thing for them to do is? Hardest block or just toughest thing for a tight end to do?
Man, I think kind of, and I love the play, but the way we'll run some pin and pull where we'll base block at the end. And you talk about point of attack with you can't get beat inside or he's going to knife in there and cut the play off. He can't go outside because he's going to shut it off and it's going to bottle all back inside. You can't get dented back. Like there's a million different things. That's the play where when we go back to talking about showing different looks, what the D-line does, like that's when I have to be specific with if we're running the play out of that formation, or I'll go back as far as I can and look up some different stuff. And that's not on top of talking to them about they can do whatever they want and play you completely different. But I think a straight up base block at the point of attack for pin and pull for us, because just the amount of variables. And like I tell my guys all the time, like, dude, what does D line do in Indy all day? Like that's all they do, that's it. And they're good at it. And so that's a tough one right there at the point of attack with the ball coming sideways.
And Jamie, I would say we agree with that when we run buck out of an
100%.
H-back, especially like I think if you put them on the ball as a true tight end, I think it's a little bit easier because they're going to have to dictate are they inside shade or head up or outside. But when you're in that H-back alignment and they're in an over front and the tackle's got to block down on the 3, it's like that H-back.
You got to win 2 yards just to get back to the line of scrimmage.
No doubt.
Yes.
No doubt.
That's the hard. That's the hard
man.
one. Now that's where you set them up on belly. Right, you get him squeezing in, trying to run. I'm sorry. We'll mark that.
Shout out Coach Boggs. Coach Boggs came up
right.
to me in 2018 said, "Hey man, here's what I love about buck and power. If you're trying to stop one, we're gonna hit you with the other one.
Get you with the other one.
Gotcha, man. Yeah, I love it.
Pick your poison.
Right. Yep.
Well, Coach, man, this has been a good one. We appreciate you being on. Obviously, a lot of success at Liberty and before, but man, best of luck to you. A lot of great insight, not on just tight end stuff, but just from, how it is to be a college coach, to coach a position where, everything kind of hinges on you guys, and you guys have been real successful rushing for thousands and thousands of yards. So, man, it's been a great episode.
It has, man. Truly appreciate you coming on and chalking it up with us.
We're going to have to get up there in clinic a little bit.
No doubt.
Y'all do a great job, man. Hope only the best for you. Don't, I'll probably, when you guys make it big, I'll probably be one of the episodes you got to delete. Like, nah, we never had him on.
Nah, man, you're going to launch us into the stratosphere, man. We'll be up there.
Can't wait to see what Coach Capone texts me whenever this episode drops. I can't wait.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm
say.
like not even like I'm I'm the last one on this list of all great coaches.
No, not at all, man. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for tuning into the Coach Speak podcast. If you're interested in being a guest speaker on the show, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at coachspeakpodcast1@gmail.com. And if you have a question for our Q&A segment, don't forget to submit it through the form in the episode description. We appreciate your support, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.